Hello, everybody. Let me just start by sending out an appeal to everybody watching this. Please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the thumbs up button if you like what I'm putting out there, or the thumbs down, whatever. Leave a comment, interact. I think it's very important to support creators who are actually trying to put out positive messages, who are actually trying to fight back against the disinformation that the left is putting out and the mainstream media. This is basically what we have. I mean, we have sites like Breitbart, which I'm going to be reading from, Gateway Pundit, different sites that are heavily censored by Google and various social media outlets. The censoring is broad and widespread, so for however we can get our voice out, however we can push through the blanketing censoring effect, the best way to do that is to subscribe and support us. So please, if you enjoy what I have to say, if you want to hear more, please subscribe, thumbs up, that sort of thing. Now, the subject of this video is going to be Breonna Taylor and how she was not innocent. The entire narrative that's been put out there is that Breonna Taylor, I mean, it's a lot of lies. Like, she was laying in bed asleep and police just basically busted in and started firing, and she was an innocent target, innocent bystander. Now, she was a victim because she was shot and killed, and she was not endangering officers' lives. She was not a part of that. However, she was not innocent. As we will read here, officers were there for her. They were there to investigate her. They thought she was alone. They weren't coming to that apartment to go after her boyfriend or anybody else. They thought she was by herself. And that's what we'll read here. The whole reason they were there is because they believe that she was part of drug trafficking. So Mattingly said ahead of the raid, officers were told Taylor's ground floor apartment was a soft target and Taylor should be there alone because they knew where their target was, and I guess they thought that he was her only boyfriend or only acquaintance. Police were conducting a wide-ranging drug investigation that night. They thought she was alone. They knew that was her apartment. They were there because they expected to find evidence relating to a drug trafficking investigation they were doing, and they believed that she was part of it. The target was an alleged drug dealer named Jamarcus Glover, who was arrested on trafficking charges the same night 10 miles away on a separate warrant. Taylor had a previous relationship with Glover. At this point, okay, she's got her boyfriend, Jamarcus Glover, who the understanding that they had was that she would be alone because he wouldn't be there. However, she has multiple boyfriends. She likes to sleep around. So she had another boyfriend there in the apartment. When they knocked, it was not a no-knock warrant. They knocked, they announced themselves. Independent witnesses have corroborated this. And she ended up getting caught in the crossfire. This is more of what they believed about her. Taylor possibly held dope for him, received the packages, and held his money. Mattingly said he was told of Taylor's involvement. No drugs were found at Taylor's home. They didn't find any drugs, but they had reason to believe that she was holding drugs for him. She would receive the drug packages and hold his money. Police had secured a no-knock warrant for Taylor's apartment, but both Walker and Mattingly confirmed that police knocked on Taylor's door. Now, the warrants have since been banned, but they knocked. They announced themselves. They believe that she was part of drug trafficking. The story, of course, is that she was an innocent bystander. What the average person believes, the average nut job who's out there burning shit up, what that average person believes is that she was a totally innocent person, that the police were there for somebody else, that they just barged in, started shooting, and she got shot. And they believe that this happened because police don't value black lives. Now, none of this is true. All of this is being used to support the violence. But as we know, whenever new information comes out, it does not affect what the looters and rioters are doing. The reason for that is because all they need is an excuse to do what they do. We know this. Once they have their excuse, they go crazy. So they were provided the excuse that this innocent woman, this innocent bystander, was mistakenly shot. And so they went nuts over that. And then a independent investigator did an investigation. He brought the FBI in on it. And what they found, the only thing that they could charge anybody with was a police officer for wanton reckless endangerment, something like that. And it was basically because some of his shots went into another apartment. But through their investigation, they found that the police did everything properly. They were shot at. They had to shoot back. They couldn't just let themselves be shot. Her stupid boyfriend just started firing away with her right there next to him. Didn't care about her life. That's the person who didn't care about black lives, was her boyfriend, because he was entirely responsible for her death. He started firing and created a situation where the people who were being fired upon had to fire back in order to protect their lives. He created that situation. He's the one who's responsible, not the police. Now, I don't understand how you can charge an officer for wanton reckless endangerment, whatever the specific charge is, for some of his shots going into another apartment. I think that in a situation like that, it's unfortunate, but that will happen. And again, it was her boyfriend who created that situation. So, while she's a victim, she is not this innocent little angel that she's being portrayed to be. And of course, it is sad. Of course, it is, in a way, it's a tragedy. But I don't believe that any of these looters or rioters are mourning in any way over her death. I don't believe that they really care about her. Think about the countless innocent victims of gang violence that who die every day, children and all kinds of people getting caught up in this. And there is not a word. These random people don't march for them. They don't hold peaceful protests, much less violent, reckless protests where they loot and destroy things. But suddenly, when the police are involved, suddenly they care so much where they have to run around destroying everything, setting everything on fire. Clearly, that's because they don't really care about the victim. It has nothing to do with the victim. What it has to do with is an excuse for people who are violent, who are aggressive, who a lot of them are felons, and a lot of them are going to be felons. I mean, you basically have a bunch of gang members. Think about that. Every single gang member that there is in the area is going to be out involved in this stuff. Why wouldn't they be? They love it. So it's a bunch of criminals running around doing criminal stuff because they have an excuse to do it. So, moral of the story, Breonna Taylor was a victim, but she was not as innocent as you think. The entire story and narrative is completely wrong. All of the protesters are going even more crazy because they think that the police officers got away with killing an innocent person, when in fact it was her boyfriend who was responsible for her death. And I don't know if he's been charged for her death, but he should be. And this also, to me, relates to the case of the can't think of his name. I should know his name. But the case of the 17-year-old kid who killed 2 people and injured a 3rd people in Kenosha. The person who fired at him when the pedophile guy was chasing him down, throwing flaming objects at him, the person who was behind him who fired that gun, that person should also be charged with murder. He should be charged with the murder of the person that Kyle killed, because it directly, through his actions, through his, what it seems to be an attempted murder of Kyle, through his actions, the death of another person resulted. So he should be charged with that murder, and the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor should be charged with her murder, because they are directly responsible. They put people in a situation where they had to defend themselves, or felt like they had to defend themselves, felt like their lives were in danger. It was reasonable for them to feel that way, and people died as a result of it. So that's the video. Please take the time to subscribe, take the time to like, and share. Tweet it out, send it to other people. We need to amplify voices who are on the right. We need to push through the curtain, the veil that these social media companies are trying to put up. They're trying to blanket us and cover us and smother us and keep our voices from getting out. So we have to actually put in the work, the elbow grease. We have to actually amplify these voices ourselves, get these messages out, because details like this are not broadly known, and there are people who are reasonable who will consider them and who will change their perspective if they know this. But the mainstream media is not going to put it out there. They have the loudest voices there are, so we have to make our voices louder. We have to support the people who are putting their voice out there. I'm one of the people who's putting my voice out there. So my request to you is to please support me, subscribe, like, and share, so that my voice can get out there. So because I am putting myself out there. I'm going through the time, effort, and trouble to try and broadcast these stories, the real stories, the truth about what's going on in these situations. And the only way people are going to hear and know broadly, it seems, is if we actually put in the time and effort to share these videos, because YouTube is doing its best to stomp on us. YouTube is it's like they are just burying us. They're allowing us to exist, but they're doing their best to blanket us and cover us. Any one of us who's trying to put our voice out there. They're trying to make sure that nobody hears and nobody knows, although they are allowing us to exist at this point until their rules that are so broad and vague, until they change, and then whatever random moderator that they have is reviewing the video, and the channel decides to just basically wipe that channel out, because they can apply these broad, vague rules to just about anything they don't like. So anyways, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.